Hello and welcome to the course. My name is Derek and I'm super excited to have you here. In this introduction section, we're going to go over a broad overview of how this system works, why this system works, as well as an overview of the frequent flyer industry and the credit card industry. Then in the following sections, we're going to go into each aspect of this system in detail. Before we get to that though, let me introduce myself. My name is Derek Pankow. At the time that I'm recording this, I have been to 28 countries including South America, Central America, Europe, and Asia. And I'm actually planning another trip right now to Asia and Europe, and the vast majority of my flights, possibly all of my flights on this trip, will be 100% free. So I'm super excited for you. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could travel at will without the cost of flights being an issue? Where would you go? What kind of adventures would you have? What kind of skills would you learn? Who will you become by the end of your trip? So to get us started, let me give you a 30-second overview of how this whole process of earning free frequent flyer miles and flying for free works. It's basically a 7-step process. Step number 1 is all about credit and credit scores. So you don't need to have an amazing credit score to do this, but you do need to have decent credit for this to work. And there are a few things you can do to increase your credit score by as much as 40 points in less than 2 weeks. So step 1 is just get your credit in order to prepare to execute this system. Step 2, we look for free credit card sign-up offers that give out 30,000 to 50,000 points as a sign-up bonus. You'll choose the cards based on your income, where do you want to go in the world, and your monthly expenses. All of these cards are free to sign up for, and doing this will improve your credit, not hurt your credit in the long run. A quick note, a mile is generally worth about 2 cents, so a sign-up bonus between 30,000 points to 50,000 points is typically worth $600 to $1,000 in free flights. You'll probably want to start with just one credit card sign-up bonus at a time to start seeing how this works for you. But after you do the first one, you can start doing 2 or 3 at the same time, meaning you can earn as much as $3,000 or more in free flights every 3 months once you get the hang of the system. Step 3, you'll apply and get approved for the credit card in question. We'll talk about the most important things that you need to do in the application process to make sure that you get approved. Step 4, you need to meet the spending requirements on the credit card in order to unlock those miles. Most cards have a spending requirement. For example, spend $1,000 in 90 days to earn 40,000 points. We'll talk about different strategies for making sure you meet those spending requirements. Step 5 is using the points you earned to take free flights anywhere in the world. We'll talk about the different websites you can use to find these flights, as well as tips for booking these flights for the lowest amount of miles possible. Step 6, eliminate the fees. Most of these cards come with an annual fee, and these fees can be anywhere between $50 to $300 per year. So if you're applying for 1 or 2 new cards every 3 months, those fees are really going to add up at the end of the year. Fortunately, there's one magic sentence you can say to a credit card company that'll basically get them to eliminate all of these fees. We'll talk about exactly what you need to say to the credit card companies to get rid of those annual fees, as well as how to eliminate any other fees that come with having these credit cards, including interest rate fees, foreign transaction fees, and more. This system should be very close to free to execute if you do it right. Step 7, keep track of everything and rinse and repeat. So that's an overview of how this whole process works. We'll go into each step in much more detail shortly. I know this sounds a little bit complicated when I go over it in these 7 steps, but it's actually quite simple once you get down to executing it. Before we get to that though, let's take a quick look at the frequent flyer industry as a whole. I often get people asking me, do the banks know you're doing this? Do the airlines know you're doing this? And the truth is they know that people are doing this and they actually love that this exists. So let's go ahead and take a look at how the industry works from the inside.